And my little grandchildren walk right up to that drawer. It's eye level to them. They open that drawer full of sharp instruments, reach in, go right past the knives, get the spoon they were after, and on they go. Nobody's calling Child Protective Services. There's no drama there. Now, why is that? It is because from their earliest ages, we teach our children how to safely interact around that tool, right? Guns are no different. It's just a matter of educating. So, educate your children, empower them with knowledge, even if you don't own guns. If they happen across one at a friend's house, that could be a tragedy. But if you've empowered your child with education about guns, take the politics out of it. Uh, if you had a swimming pool in your backyard, you would definitely teach your child how to swim, right? Well, if you sit there and say, well, I don't own a pool, so my kid has no reason to learn how to swim, you would be negligent. You would absolutely be negligent because that child can encounter, a river, a lake, a pool at a friend's house, that sort of thing. And so it is just that simple. Then the idea of our Second Amendment, like what it even is. So, sitting right next to me is our United States Constitution and Bill of Rights. Look how thin that is, right? It is not a volume of War and Peace. It is about 40, it's a pocket sized constitution. It's about 48 pages. It takes about an hour and a half to read, cover to cover. How many people have taken the time to read it? The Second Amendment, and this is shocking because you would think that, nowadays we can't write any kind of a bill or any kind of a federal document without it being like 9 gajillion pages long. The Second Amendment is 27 words. 27 words that says a well regulated militia being necessary to the security of what? A free state. The right of who? The people to keep and bear what? Arms, not just guns. Knives are arms, right? There are all kinds of arms. Shall not be infringed. And the only place in this entire document that the phrase, the clause, shall not be infringed is at the Second Amendment. It's like gun rights for dummies. It's like the founders realized that was going to be something that it was going to need to be punctuated. So your neighbor couldn't go, well, what if a guy uses a gun incorrectly and murders people? No, it still shall not be infringed. Just because somebody misused their rights should not, cannot mean that I have to give up mine. 2.5 million times, at least 2.5 million times every year, lives are saved because of a responsibly armed citizen. And 200,000 times a year, a woman prevents a sexual assault because she's responsibly armed. We can't ignore these numbers. And if we do, we aren't honoring the lives, the people that are alive today because of responsibly armed citizens. The media marketing of gun violence, right? So it's our attention is focused and funneled in a specific way so that we're left with sort of this false dichotomy of, you can either believe this or you can believe that. And if you believe this, then you're okay. And if you believe that, then you're some kind of a wacko or you're a science denier or you're, whatever you are. Um, and it's just really it's malpractice, if you ask me, the way that our news is presented to us. But whatever they can sell ads on, that's what they're about.
It's fear and propaganda. It's fear sells it, and then it's propaganda. It's shocking to me that anyone doesn't know that yet.
I
But that's
taught my daughter question authority, and then I realized, oh wait, that's why she's constantly questioning me. Okay,
that's right. Yeah,
whatever.
but you can't, once they've got it, that doesn't go away. I don't think you can inject that into an adult, that
Yeah,
questioning mind. But
yeah.
keeping that in the kids is so important, because if they have that questioning mind, they're going to find their path, and they're going to find the right, they're going to find the, they're not going to just take someone's word for something or just do something because they're told.
We are moms, we're grandmas, we're, women of every, all along the political spectrum. We're a nonpartisan group. every demographic you can possibly think of who do value our Second Amendment rights. And so we form relationships with our elected officials. And so there's that reaching out to, writing, phone calling, visiting in person our elected officials to help them understand, who we are as female gun owners. You would think that we don't exist because we don't fit that stereotypical, people think gun owners are all like 50 and older dudes with beards and they wear camo, and that's all there is to it. Well, women are gun rights advocates as well, and gun owners as well. And so the DC Project is a great organization. We have started doing a chapter in every state. I'm the state director for Arizona. If anybody's interested in that, then go to dcproject.info and then click, I think it's participate, and just a quick little form just to say what state you're in, first and last name, your email address. And so we can get you connected with somebody in your state like myself, because like in Arizona, I'm looking for at least one woman from each legislative district. And I believe we have 30 here in Arizona. And so rather than just me trying to talk to legislators in 30 districts, I can just talk to the legislators in my district. And then, each woman can talk to the legislators in their district. And it really lightens the load. And really, I think it just comes down to that personal involvement and getting involved even at the level of school board, right? Most of our school board members, I think if you took a poll across the nation, the people that are helping set policy for everything that our children are going to learn throughout the year, uh, it seems to me that they tend to lean towards a particular political party. Seems like they tend to be more liberal. Those of us that are conservatives or independents or libertarians, more freedom minded, we need to be more involved in these kinds of organizations.
Well, and I like that you said getting behind the Second Amendment and our Constitution and our Bill of Rights doesn't mean you have to go be a gun owner. But if you look at countries where the population isn't allowed to own a gun, let's just look at Mexico, for example. Who does own the guns? The cartels and the bad guys. And they always will. Bad guys will always have a gun. So you don't, just because if you don't want anything to do with guns, that's fine. But we have to be able to maintain the right to have a gun, because you don't know. I mean, in Texas, there's so many gun owners, and I know in Arizona too, that a bad guy is going to think twice about pulling a gun out in a restaurant in Texas. Somebody in there is very likely to have a gun. And so just even having that law that allows us to be gun owners makes the criminals just think twice about being a criminal. Anybody can be armed anytime, anywhere, almost anytime, anywhere. And those are the places, it's those places where you can't be armed, where they end up having school shootings or, things like that. I don't know that I'll put this one on YouTube. Because I've already gotten my very first interview with an acupuncturist, and we talked about, and it already got censored off of YouTube, and they slapped me on the wrist and said that if it happens again, then I won't be able to upload. So I'm going to censor myself and put, I'll just put this one on BitChute and Rumble, because we went too far with the, isn't it crazy that?
Yeah. Like, how is it harmful to get a new perspective or a different perspective? And, people should be able to go, well, she's a wacko, and
change the channel.
Decide for themselves, or, wow, that was new information. I hadn't heard that before. It's just craziness to me. And the fact that they are so hard to censor it makes me feel like we're over the target, right? We're telling the actual truth, and they don't want the truth, whoever they are, right?
Yeah.
They don't want it spoken. What's wrong with having even, another doctor who has a different opinion, because, it's practicing medicine, right? It's all experimentation and trial and error. It's what science is. And nowadays it's like, no, it's this and that's it.
I live better than a king ever did. I live better than a king.